violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
This morning, all 4 hostages safe and the gunman dead after a 10-hour standoff at a North Texas synagogue.
FBI, ATF, HSI, Texas Department of Public Safety, and all of our local partners all responded.
The hostage negotiation team, part of the massive rescue effort, remaining in contact with the suspect throughout the day.
Wow. So it looks like somebody held up this synagogue for 10 hours. And this is in Texas, okay? They don't play in Texas. So the fact that this guy was able to go in this synagogue and hold hostages armed and do all that kind of stuff, it's pretty bold.
It's very likely this situation would have ended very badly early on in the day had we not had professional, consistent negotiation with the subject.
Police confirming the suspect, whose identity is not being publicly released, is now dead after what they called a shooting incident.
So why not release his identity? Why not? I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of times they don't want to give off a reaction, a violent reaction, so they don't give the person's name, or maybe they don't want to highlight that there is an actual problem with certain ethnic groups within the population, okay? And this is not to say that all of them are on demon time or all of them are going to inevitably turn into super gremlins, but it is to say that, hey, there needs to be an eye on a certain demographic of the population, especially if they are immigrants. All right. And Texas is dealing with a lot of immigration issues from all angles, not just from the southern border.
The situation beginning late Saturday morning at Congregation Beth Israel when the suspect interrupted a scheduled Shabbat service, taking a rabbi and 3 others hostage. Part of it recorded on a Facebook Live.
Immediately opened my laptop. There were only 20 people on the Facebook Zoom, and I was sitting there glued to it, volume cranked for hours.
Olivia Zelling and her mother Stacy Silverman, who've been attending the synagogue for 13 years, watching in horror.
The rabbi was being very calm, but the perpetrator, he was swearing. Every other word was the F word.
Law enforcement officials telling ABC News the suspect claimed he had explosives in his backpack.
Wow. And that's scary, man. You got this crazy Arab gremlin or sand gremlin. We got a crazy sand gremlin in the synagogue, and you know that he is, the battery is put in his back by whatever religious text that he's reading and adhering to. And he's cursing and carrying on. Man, that gotta be super scary.
And was demanding the release of convicted terrorist Afia Siddiqui, who was sentenced to 86 years in federal prison for attempted murder of a U.S. soldier. FBI agents and local law enforcement working to figure out the connection between the hostage taker and Siddiqui. Members of a nearby Islamic center telling me about one of the hostages, Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker, and voicing their support for the Jewish community.
He has been somebody who has taught everybody that, people come first, then the faiths, and look at all the positive things.
Now we are always with them, and whatever they need help, anything, we are here for them.
And that's good, man. I like the unity, especially when you don't particularly agree with another religion or whatnot. It's good to see people coming together and not allowing the terrorism to split them and to create biases. So that's good. We got the Muslims locking arms with the Jews. So as you can see, it's not like the Muslim community is just full of these types of dudes, but there is an element that in all cultures you can see that is extreme, and it definitely needs to be taken seriously. So I'm sure that this guy probably has a history.
The release of Afia Siddiqui was at the crux of the suspect's demands, but her attorney tells ABC News he was not a relative of her and really was not known to her at all, saying in a statement his actions are heinous and wrong, and her case must be addressed through the courts of law. Janae?
Maria, thank you so much. And right now we want to bring in ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett. Brad, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Law enforcement were talking with this suspect, trying to get him to surrender for hours. How do they go about dealing with a situation like this when the suspect has taken hostages and is demanding a convicted terrorist be released from prison?
So the key is communicating with a hostage taker, which apparently occurred shortly after he has taken the hostages. So you gather information from him, you try to figure out how many hostages he has inside, you do an assessment of his state of mind.
And this is the type of the police work that they do. So when y'all keep saying defund the police, all right, cool. When y'all's church gets held up, when you got a crazy sand gremlin in your church and threatening to bomb the place and threatening to shoot people up, then you go ahead and defund the police and they won't respond to your church. But every other church, synagogue, mosque, they welcome the police in diffusing situations like this. So, and this is why in the community, if something like this happened in the community, everybody in that synagogue would have been dead.
And you really try to figure out quickly, is this a guy that we can actually talk out, or are we going to have to go in and take him? And so they go on for 10 hours. During that 10 hours, they collect a lot of information. My guess is they were able to get cameras inside the synagogue. And they let the hostage rescue team then figure out a plan to get into the building in such a way that there's a minimal amount of time from when they hit the door till they can go to him, which suggests through the hostage negotiators and cameras, they located him in a particular part of the synagogue. Fortunately, they were able to do whatever they did, I presume, shoot him, and then clear everyone else out. It was really a terrific story. I've seen these not end this well. And anytime you have an Islamic type extremist or someone who sort of purports to be that, supposedly, that they can end really badly, as we well know.
And Brad, obviously the claims of having explosives only makes the situation that much more delicate. Real quick, how does the anti-Semitism in this situation impact law enforcement and raise concerns in communities across the country?
Oh, it's a big red light. I mean, driving around yesterday afternoon in D.C., I noticed numerous police cars around synagogues near my house. So, yes, the concern of copycats. I will tell you that many synagogues have their own rescue plans. They have their own internal security because they know this is potentially a daily threat.
And we start here with the FBI that has identified a 44-year-old British national as the man who took 4 people hostage at a synagogue near Fort Worth. This was yesterday. That man's name is Malik Faisal Akram. No photo has been released yet. He was killed yesterday when the FBI's hostage rescue team stormed the Beth Israel congregation.
Guys, I'll make sure I get a photo of brother Malik. Yeah, I mean, and on Twitter, literally, I can't make this up. On Twitter, there are people defending his actions. The black Muslims, to be specific. All over Twitter, you can see the black Muslims defending brother Malik.
In Colleyville and freed those hostages. Our sister station, WFA, captured this exclusive video. You see it here of the hostages running out of a door at the synagogue just as the FBI were preparing to move in. You could see a man following after them with a gun. You see the blur there as well. None of the hostages were hurt. President Biden had a message for the Jewish community today.
They should rest assured that we are focused. We are focused, the Attorney General is focused on making sure that we deal with these kinds of acts.
That man looked like he don't know what's going on. Jeez, these kinds of acts. Come on, man.
Enforcement officials are investigating whether or not the suspect appeared on a terrorist screening database or watch list. The FBI says currently there is no indication of any kind of ongoing threat. Meantime, the Jewish Federation of Greater Houston says attacks on Jewish people of Jewish faith are on the rise really throughout the entire world, and that's why the organization is establishing what it calls a comprehensive security system.
Well, if you watch this channel, you know that attacks on everybody are on the rise. It's not just Jews, okay? It's everybody. This situation is obviously horrible, but it could have ended a lot worse. There's not much attention on it. I haven't seen any national stories on it yet. Looks just like a local story, even though it's an example of terrorism. It's not going to get much headway, so hopefully this video right here goes viral or blows up or whatever. That's why y'all got to share the stream. Like, comment, subscribe, put on that notification bell. And when you see my premieres, put on the notification alerts or reminders, because YouTube is definitely going to do what they do when it comes to the censorship and conservative viewpoints. So you already know. Make sure y'all show y'all support, because you're not going to hear about these stories anywhere else.
For Jewish communities in our area. Its partner on this initiative is an organization called Secure Communities Network, or SCN.
Through this partnership, the Jewish Federation of Greater Houston will hire a local full-time security director who serves as a representative of SCN. The director acts as an expert security advisor, liaison, and training coordinator for the whole community.
Right now, no timetable on when this new security initiative will be up and running. However, the Federation has already secured 3 years worth of funding for it.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.